Hello everyone and welcome to Gels World. So right now I am going to talk about Knott's Berry Farm. So if you're interested in that, please hit subscribe and, keep on watching. Alright, so let's start with, I work in hospitality. I do work at hotels. I've been working in hotels for well over 10 years. And so my views are a little bit different when it comes to the hospitality industry or the hotel stay portion of what we're discussing. And yeah, so Knott's Berry Farm is Camp Snoopy, and it was Cedars Fair, I believe, is the name of the parent company, and it's been around forever. I think it's their 100th, their centennial coming on, and I've been going there for years and years and years. So this trip was very interesting. So we took a 2-year-old with us. We took my nephew, and Knott's Berry Farm is great for the little kids. I love going during the week when it's not busy. I mean, there was like no lines for anything. It was insane, and it was, it was a nice day. One of my favorite things that they have is Independence Hall, where you can learn, about our country, and that is actually free, and it's down by Knott City. That's a lot of fun. So it was interesting. Last year, I think it was first year in years that we hadn't had a season pass, and so we just renewed our season pass this year. And so I was a little disappointed when I went back to Knott's Berry Farm, and some of my favorite things were no longer there, and we're not talking rides. I don't do roller coasters, but they have so many roller coasters. My older nephew, when we take him, we have to take another adult because I don't do roller coasters. Yeah. So I was kind of bummed because normally when we go, there's certain things that I eat every time we're there, and I've been talking about a couple of these for months. One of those is a boysenberry cronut. You used to be able to get it at the bakery when you're walking in the bakery in the market. Um, they no longer make it. They no longer make a boysenberry cronut. So disappointing. The other thing that I was kind of bummed about talking about was their boysenberry chocolate popcorn. Let me tell you guys, it is just indulgence. Oh my god, no diet. It is popcorn coated with chocolate and some boysenberry, and my favorite thing ever. I eat bags of this whenever we go, and I buy bags of it to enjoy and remind me of these great getaways and whenever now it's about time to go back. And so they no longer carry it. It's kind of, or as an everyday thing, I was kind of bummed, like seriously bummed. And so my brain was like, okay, well, you know what, maybe it's just a fudge, like a chocolate fudge with some boysenberry in it. Yep, they didn't have boysenberry fudge either. So that was kind of disappointing, because it's things that for years, I mean, we're talking about 5 years, we've been going, and they've always had the boysenberry chocolate popcorn. They've always had the boysenberry fudge. They've always had the cronuts, and suddenly it's not there. So that was kind of bummy. So then they didn't have any boysenberry donuts either, which was kind of odd for me. And I mean, so yeah, so that was the negative. That was the letdown at the end of the trip. But I mean, okay, it is about the food, but it's not. I did try it, boysenberry, the corn dog, strictly on a stick, which is they use boysenberry in their cornmeal. Oh my god, it's that salty sweet. So the best friggin' corn dog ever. Let me tell you guys, delicious. Um, so something else that we always do when we go into Knott's Berry Farm is probably even Disneyland. Is so in Knott's Berry Farm you go into Ghost Town, and it's kind of by the there's a, I don't know if I should give you the location, the grill, country grill, and there's the theater. There's a theater out there, and it's in Ghost Town, and they have these amazing, like, friggin' smoked turkey legs, and then you can get a side with it for like $4 additional. And so that side we always choose the corn on the cob. Oh my god, let me tell you, delicious. And so glad they still let us do that because, amazing. So that's the food at Knott's Berry Farm. They do let you bring in your own food also, which is it's cost saving. So with the 2-year-old, the toddler, it was nice to be able to bring in our own snacks. What's also really nice is when you first enter, you go to the right, and that's Camp Snoopy, which is where most of the kids' rides are. And you can meet the characters. Um, they're wide enough for strollers, a lot of stroller parking, and it's just really great. So it was a lot of fun, and we were able to take him on a few million rides. A few rides. I think he only really did the train rides just because it was his first time there, and he doesn't transition very well. Very good boy. Loved running around and loved walking, and it was a great that it wasn't really busy to introduce him to the first time going to a theme park. And it's very interactive. They had this really cool show going on with people, robbers, running away, and then a shootout, and it like took over, and it was just so much fun. There was a lot of loud bangs, really cool. And then if you go into the saloon, they have a show with dancers and stuff, and that's a lot of fun too. Just there's different aspects of Knott's Berry Farm depending on when you go. Um, and I just like it a lot more than, dare I say, the House of Mouse, which I enjoy too. It's just overcrowded, really overpriced, maybe not overpriced, but very pricey. And Knott's Berry Farm is just kind of more interactive, and it's just a lot more fun. And I can't explain it when I say it, because everyone's like, well, Disneyland has characters too. Yes, they do. But you're not going to be walking and all of a sudden hearing gunshots and it's hold up. You're not going to be seeing the mayor last summer they did, or summer before last, Ghost Town Live comes alive or whatever, and it was like they had an election and stuff like that, and had the kids pounding on stuff and walking around, vote for this person, and it was just really really cool. It was really a lot of fun. Or when you go in to get a soda, see one of the characters sitting there and like, hey, can you run this across the way to this person, and get you involved in the storyline that's going on. And that to me is a lot of fun and helps the imagination, and it's so great. And they have things for different people. Um, they have, they have roller coasters, really amazing roller coasters if you're a roller coaster person. Just walking around looking at the shops is a lot of fun. They have, like I said, Ghost Live Camp Snoopy for the Peanuts. And yeah, I just really enjoy it. I truly enjoy it most. And so that was Knott's Berry Farm. And we ended up staying across the street at the Colony Inn. Love, this is our third or fourth time staying there. And I work for IHG, so there's a Holiday Inn about 5 minutes down the road. So we like this place because it's a lot closer. It's a little more expensive from when I worked with my employee discount, but we'd still stay there. Odd, right? And so you have Knott's Berry Farm Hotel. It's on that side of the street, and then you have the Colony Inn. It's like Wagon Inn and Colony Inn, and then a gas station, and like a Walgreens in between a gas station and the Walgreens. Just kind of perspective, and it's funny because I feel I've stayed at Knott's Berry Farm Hotel, and I feel that the Colony Inn's actually closer. It's literally just right across the street. And because the part where the parking lot is, you have to go all the way around the parking lot and stuff. So I think it's funny. And the Colony Inn, you also have to think about where you're staying. So they did let me down a little bit this time. We opened up the fridge and there was still like stuff from the last guest in there. And when we mentioned it to the front desk, because we had another issue with the TV, not the front desk's fault, things happen. Mentioned, oh, by the way, your housekeeping didn't clean out the fridge. And he's like, he apologized, but nothing else. And by nothing else, I mean, like, didn't have someone come in and clean the fridge and empty it out. And so that I did have, a little issue with, but I think because we've stayed there before and we know that they're immaculate, they're clean, And coming from hospitality, I know where you're staying. It is not a 4-star. It is not the Holiday Inn, which is where I worked and stuff. So it's not the Holiday Inn. It is, you know, 2-star. Continental breakfast is your standard carb fest. But they did have a really good passion fruit mango orange juice. That was really, really good. So yeah, it's your standard, hotel, little, you know, independent hotel. Their service is amazing. The employees there are great. I love the front desk personnel. Both gentlemen that we've this time and last time was one of the owners that was working the front desk. So it's a great little hotel. Just don't expect a lot from it. It probably is just a step up from Motel 6 or whatever. But even then, I have no problem staying there as long as the room's clean and the service is excellent. Like I said, just know where you're staying. So that was the only little fault in it that I found was, the whole refrigerator issue. The rooms are beautiful and large, and what's funny is that video that got deleted, I literally had done a tour of the room with the little one running around. So, yeah, and like I said, they have a lot of church groups that stay there when they're, in the middle of stuff, and like a lot of groups stay there. So it is one of those hotels, and it always seems to be busy. Every time I go, they always seem to have a full hotel. And like I said, I don't tend to go on a weekend. I don't go during summertime. I don't go during like when major events happen, with the exception of Boysenberry Festival, which is a month long. So I try to choose like during the week and a day for Boysenberry Fest. So yeah, and it just like I said, it was an odd offshoot. And like I said, how you handle the situation is how when something goes wrong is talks a lot about the hotel. So that was like I said, just a little just like, oh, he did say, oh, I'm sorry, and then like walked out because he was fixing the TV. So I don't know if he was just concerned with trying to get that TV going, but I would rather than that. But like I said, I currently work at a really nice hotel, and I can see how it does happen, once in a while where they forget to in a hurry and they get interrupted and stuff happens. So yeah, like I said, and I understand. So below is going to be linked to the Colony Inn, to the website. So if you want to stay there, and not sponsored, but like I said, just letting you guys know, as someone who loves to travel and works in the industry, what my opinions are. And so yeah, when I look for a hotel, I do look at when I'm looking on TripAdvisor or even their website or Orbitz or anything, I do look at where they have failed. Their service fails. That does say a lot. And you take everything with a grain of salt because sometimes the guests just didn't know what to expect or the expectations weren't reasonable for where they were staying. And then I look at their 5 stars. And recently, within I try to look at 4 months. And that's when I haven't stayed there. When I have stayed there, when I go in, I do look at cleanliness. So I look at floorboards. I look at um, the bathtub and the sheets. That's pretty much it, And then I always try to stay somewhere with the breakfast especially when I'm traveling with my nephew, because at 2, they still want milk. They still want little things like that. So somewhere that has breakfast, if he, I can always fill up his cup of milk. And if he's kind of fidgety, crying, a lot of times I can go and ask and pay a couple bucks and get a glass of milk, a little bit of milk for him from the breakfast room. So that is why I choose that. But yeah, so like I said, I love staying everywhere, and don't always just stay at. I have stayed at higher end hotels, and I have stayed at lower end hotels and Spectrum. I mean, I love to camp and stuff like that. So that is why when I travel and I do it all. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. Um, so So yeah, so like I said, I hope to put more of these videos up there, and then I'll probably actually do a video from Knott's Berry Farm when I go in a couple months with the Boys and Festival, which is March 21st through April 20th. So it actually runs a month, and I might be off by like a day on one of those ends. And yeah, thank you guys so much for listening. And if this is kind of your cup of tea and you want to see what I do, what I look at when I travel and experience traveling with me, through me, whatever, please hit the subscribe button. I don't travel as much as I used to. I used to like take off every weekend, but you know, just do have to get paid, so that doesn't happen as much. And I'll probably even start a series like doing different things because I work in Coronado, California, which is a very touristy destination, and kind of do some of my favorite things that are there. And you know, I live in San Diego, so that's coming to things that I do in San Diego as someone who lives here and versus a tourist and stuff. So yeah, if that sounds awesome, please hit subscribe, and those are coming soon. Summer series. Bye, chatty.